Hello and welcome back once again to Mitarn Ladder. It's been a while since I've played some StarCraft, but you may have realized that things are a little bit different this time. You are going to be watching everything from my point of view. This is a first for me. I just recorded the entire game while playing. I'm obviously talking over it afterwards. And so you're going to be able to see my mouse movements, everything that I would be seeing basically. Maybe because it's on YouTube it'll look a little bit worse unless you use that little HD function. Anyway, so it's a bit different, okay? Firstly, I'll just say that it was a little bit sort of difficult to get used to because the FPS are a little bit limited when you're playing like this, so it's slightly harder to control. But I watched recently, the reason I'm actually doing this is because recently I watched a nice little Day 9 daily, and he sort of covered all the really basic stuff about firstly how you should hold your mouse hand, how you should put your keyboard, the positioning of all of that stuff, things like that. And then afterwards he covers things like the movements you should make when you're playing, how you should click on things, how you should select things, basically just the mechanics, the way of playing, not your strats, not the way you approach your in-game stuff, rather the way you do it, basically, as simple as that. So I'm playing against a Protoss called Zik here, and you can see exactly what my mouse pointer is doing there. You can see what I'm typing. I'm faking him big time, wondering what the hell is he talking about there. But so yes, the game itself is not going to matter as much here. Of course, I chose an interesting game. I played like 2 or 3 ladder games today, maybe. But I chose one that was sort of a little bit more interesting to actually talk about. So my whole idea here, firstly, was I thought, okay, because it's Blistering Sands and it's a pretty easy map to defend, which actually comes back to bite me a bit later, you'll see. But because it was easy to defend, I thought, okay, why not try the fast expand thing? I know it's sort of I keep saying this, but a dying breed. No one really seems to do it very much anymore. But on a map like this, it's worth taking up the sort of advantage of it. So pretty standard for me there. I went for a 14 hatchery, and then I got an extra drone, so 14 hatch and 14 pool, and then obviously just a 13 extractor. So I don't know, pretty standard way of fast expanding. And I gotta say, I mean, I really like fast expanding. It's so nice having that hatchery up as early as that, and being able to have 2 bases to saturate, and that's just sort of double the amount of trouble for me. But if you look at I mean, I'm not the kind of player, back to the way I'm playing, I'm not the kind of player who wants to spam too much. And by spam, I mean, for those of you that aren't sort of familiar with the terms, like selecting groups of units the whole time, clicking billions of times on the screen for no reason at all, things like that. It's pretty pointless, but some people like to keep their APM, their actions per minute, up, and it just keeps them like warmed up throughout the game, and that it makes sense, it really does. But I suppose at the level that I'm at the moment, that's the kind of thing that really doesn't matter. So other things that you can see right now is, so you can obviously see everything that's going on my camera view, the way I move around. One thing that I picked up, which I don't think a lot of people really like, is from casting a lot, from doing a lot of shoutcasting and actually being the cameraman, I'll call it. I sort of picked up a little habit of not using the sides of the screen to scroll, and I'm very happy about that, because personally I think it's not, I don't know, it's not ideal. I don't see the point of moving your mouse all the way to the side of the screen to be able to scroll to the side. Sure, if you could use your keyboard to move around, that's cool too, but then you're going to move your hand away from your hotkeys. So pretty pointless. The way I do it is I use my middle mouse button. I set that sensitivity quite high up, and then I just click my middle mouse button, and then you'll see your mouse pointer actually disappears, and then you can move your mouse around to move your screen around. It's a different way of doing it, sure. So that's how I do it, and you'll realize that sometimes my mouse pointer disappears and my screen moves around, and that's just how I do it. So I saw that this guy he didn't block his ramp firstly, and I was pretty sad that I actually went for the fast expand after seeing that, because he left his base. I mean, he has a nice base build, it's pretty tight, but when people don't block their ramp, they leave themselves so open to Zergling harass. Really, if you can get +1 on your Zerglings, and you can just sneak them in there, just get them in the mineral line of your opponent, you can do so much damage so quickly. So now here I saw the guy moving out, and my spine crawlers went up just in time. I think at a decent, well-timed spine crawlers there. As I said before, I think in one of my first casts, I'm not shy about putting spine crawlers up. I'll throw 10 of them up if it's going to save me from the opponent, and if it gives me a little bit more time. Because as Zerg, you need time. You need time to be able to saturate your mineral lines, get a little bit of gas, maybe get your tech up. In this game, I actually decided to stay on tier 1 for quite a while. My sort of game plan, which you should probably always have, was to just get, well, sort of a short-term thing. I wanted Zergling speed out. I wanted at least +1 on my Zerglings, and then I would have thrown down more gas, and then try like sort of expand a little bit more on that. Maybe get Roach's Hide Risk, transition to that, or get Muters. I was probably going to go Muters, but you know, I would have obviously seen where the game took me from there. So I saw that the guy was hanging around here, and I knew he had a proxy pylon around, because at the bottom I actually saw him warping a unit in there. So I knew that the pressure was going to be on now. And I also did assume he was going to come for my back entrance, which he did. And I didn't react quick enough to that. That was a big mistake that I made. He sort of caught me off guard there. I got a couple of drones out to throw down crawlers, but I was still in trouble. Okay, this was a bad thing. And then I decided, okay, because he's going to try do this, I'm going to try do the same thing and just go straight for his base. And once again, because he didn't block his ramp, I could just run straight in there. So a bit of a boo-boo from him. I really do think he should have blocked the ramp. At least maybe kept a sentry or two there. So he was moving into my base. My spine crawlers wouldn't have gone up. I didn't cancel them in time. I actually lost them there. But the damage that I did to his main, irreparable, definitely irreparable. And I was quick enough to get my drones and my queen back down, I repositioned the spine crawlers so that he couldn't come in that side, and then check back at his base and see the complete and utter devastation that I did there. So I was actually still quite happy with my position right now. Having a look at his base, you know, things aren't looking good in Camp Zik. And then he makes the mistake of actually pulling back. He decides he's not going to base trade it. So I'm not sure if he would have actually made it in time. Perhaps he could have. It's possible. But I was focusing down his Nexus, and I gotta say I was pretty certain that I was going to take him out there. Otherwise, in my base, he left my base quite intact. He didn't even take down my lair. That was a bit of a problem for him. My metabolic boost was late in this game, so had it come up a bit earlier, I might have been able to do a bit better. So yes, he would have done better if he actually had taken that out. And here what I actually did is I was lucky enough to escape with a lot of my Zerglings, and that sort of just made it even sweeter for me, because no Nexus, this guy, I mean, I know exactly what's going through his head now, like, oh crap, I need to all in right now, I need to do as much damage as I can, I need to take this Zerg out. But because he didn't take my top base up, my main, I think the chances were pretty slim of that happening. So I threw down 2 more gas, and I got an extra queen out once again, because he did in fact kill, I think he killed it. Or is it just hanging around at the bottom? I'm not sure. That's the pitfalls of casting live game. So quickly reorganizing my base, getting a bit of stuff back up where there should be. Saturation wasn't so bad, and here I lost control of my army a little bit. But I did manage to save a decent amount of it. And my income at the moment, not bad. I mean, compared to his, obviously infinitely better, because he has nothing. And I feel in this game, my larva injections weren't bad. They weren't perfect. Okay, definitely not perfect. Like right now, right there, I'm actually standing here at the moment, looking at this queen, and I'm not injecting with it. Why not, Swen? And then here comes the all-in, which I pretty much expected. Not a big deal. I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to be able to handle this. I got my 2 hatcheries waypoints set down here, and then I got a nice surround on these units. If you're ever using Zerglings, that's critical. Get a nice surround on those stalkers and sentries. If he doesn't have blink, he's going to lose it. And there's the GG from Zik. So, I don't know. I can't say I played exceptionally well, because, I mean, I got that tech out. Sure, I mean, I got my lair tech. But what did I do with that? Nothing really. I mean, I didn't really even try get a Mutalisk Spire down. I didn't think ahead. I was thinking in the now, which would have. I mean, in this game, it actually worked out okay, because I didn't think of the future of like past the first 10 minutes of the game, but. It did work out, because it was sort of a all-in-ish thing for him to do there, to come straight from my base and try to take me out, but he had to, obviously. So I suppose I just had to wing that and change my plans on the fly. But so good and bad things. We were having a look at my mouse movements and my control and stuff. I personally don't think I do everything really well, and when the situations get tense, like really tense, and you start stressing a bit, then the movements get even more jagged and like terrible. I mean, it's really bad to watch. But I suppose that's just a bit of a. I mean, it gives you guys a bit of insight, see how I actually control things, how I play. This is the kind of video you can actually watch more than once, because there's a lot of things, for me especially, I mean, I don't watch myself play often. Sure, you're doing it while you're playing, but you don't really, I don't know, you don't really absorb how it looks till you actually go and watch a VOD of yourself playing. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it's something that, I mean, a little exercise, I'll call it, that everyone can do, and it's always good to look at. Because it'll help you focus on those things, like I said, in the Day 9 Daily, the things that you should be doing right, how many times you should be clicking, how wasteful your movements are, stuff like that. So I've sort of spoken a lot, babbled a lot here after the game actually finished, but that's fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to release a few more of these. It's not as comfortable as doing it like post and watching the replay afterwards. I mean, what do I call that? Post-production, post-casting. That doesn't sound right. But I prefer doing it that way. But this is still quite interesting, and I'll do this every now and then to keep you guys up to date and tell you what I've improved on and what I've changed. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Keep checking back here soon for more, and maybe leave in the comments. Tell me what you think is really bad about my playstyle. I love criticism as long as it's constructive and not just, oh my god, you suck, because that's terrible. Actually, if you do that, I'd probably like it anyway. It's enjoyable seeing stuff like that. Really, it is. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.